Hey everyone, this is a follow-up to the last couple of weeks where I undertook a major project on my newly acquired 2011 Mustang GT with the 5.0 Coyote. I bought it with a slight tick and knock from an auction house, sight unseen, which by the way is a huge gamble. If you don't know, now you know. So with my setup, because of how low the car is, I had to drive it onto wood slats in order to get the jack to fit underneath it. I also had to get an engine support bar from Harbor Freight in order to hold up the engine while the K-member was dropped. I attached it with ratcheting straps to the engine mounts support themselves. Once I dropped the K-member and dropped the oil pan, I was able to see that there were a lot of metal flakes at the bottom of the pan. So this pretty much confirmed my suspicions that there was something that needed to be done regarding these rod bearings. Now you're able to see the condition of the bearings that I replaced, and I replaced them on all 8 cylinders. My cylinders 2, 3, and 6, 7 had the worst damage, a lot of missing material, and some of it had fused to the crankshaft, which I of course did the poor man's sand with 1,000 to 3,000 sandpaper and a shoelace. Compared to that, 1, 4, 5, and 8 were in pretty decent condition, minus a little bit of scarring and pitting that you would expect to see with basic operating for this now 8-year-old vehicle. Once I finally replaced all the bearings, put the oil pan back on, raised the K-member back up, dropped the engine down, and re-secured everything and put in some 5W30 motor oil. Here is the footage of the first fire once I turned it over. Ready?
Yep.
So indeed the tick was gone, but that footage was in a garage and it was pretty echoey with the Roush exhaust. So I took it on about a 15-minute, 10-mile long loop around my neighborhood, varying RPMs, and then I parked it out front and captured this video of it idling. So far I've now driven this car for about 80 miles so that it can go through all of its cycles for the smog check, which I also performed. The car is now registered and I'm driving it kind of as a third car that we have now. So if you're one of the people out there who have this Mustang knock similar to the noise that you heard in my last video, I hope that this gives you a little bit of hope that it is something that perhaps you could do yourself if you have the time and if you have the resources. When I took it to Ford, after a $140 diagnostic fee, they ultimately concluded that it was a knock in the bottom end of the engine, which is accurate, but they weren't able to pinpoint it any further without either doing a $1,200 teardown down to the point of failure, or ultimately just replacing the engine for about $9,500, which I was also advised by some people that was a pretty low cost for an engine replacement. Either way, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it helps you out in some way or fashion. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a comment and I'll take my time to respond. I do want to give a shout out to Carter Mealy, who did help me through this process. I followed his forum post where he replaced the bearings and was able to cure this on his Mustang, and I emailed back and forth with him for about 2 weeks as I was going through this project. He was very helpful, so Carter, thank you so much for your help, man. Really appreciate it.